Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm going to do part 2 of what's inside George Benson's record collection. Alright, so I've got 2 piles of records here. One pile is going to be everything that I've got on eBay right now at the time of this video upload. And the other pile is stuff that I'm keeping. The pile of stuff I'm keeping in this particular video is actually a lot smaller than the pile of stuff that I am selling. So I'm going to start with this Wes Montgomery Boss guitar. Real nice, clean copy. You know, it's a mono copy. It's not that this is an exceptionally expensive record, but this was a really clean copy. So I didn't have this in the collection. So, you know, I decided to keep this. All right. Wayne Shorter, Night Dreamer. This is a stereo pressing. Nice copy, pretty good VG plus. Nice cover. Nice keeper. I feel like I have a lot of these dupes. I probably should have went over this, some of these, and compared them what I have in my collection to see what I was ultimately going to keep. But this stuff is slated to go in my collection and might ultimately not end up there. Don Cherry. So this is actually a later Blue Note, the Blue Label Blue Note. But any of these that actually are Van Gelder cut records, like this particular title, Symphony for the Improvisers, this is like a brand new record. I mean, it used to be once upon a time, these records were 10 bucks. Nobody wanted them. That is not the case now. I see a lot of these big Bs going for hundreds of dollars. But as long as it uses the original Van Gelder metalwork, I like keeping those in my collection if I don't have a copy already. Jackie McLean, Action, Action, Action. This is another UA title, you know, UA pressing, later pressing, stereo copy. Real nice, clean copy, VG++ at the least, you know, nice Van Gelder cut, clean cover, front and back. So that is a title that I'm going to keep for now. Everything in my collection is very fluid. There's stuff that's constantly coming in, constantly going out, always looking to upgrade. He had a ton of Jackie McLean. One Step Beyond. This is another Blue Label. You know, real nice, clean, original Van Gelder mastering. Nice, pretty solid, clean jacket. As the original Blue Note era stuff becomes more and more crazy, you're starting to see that the Liberty pressings, the later United pressings, have gotten much more expensive as well. It used to be that the collectors really only wanted those true first pressings. That is not the case anymore. So I find myself keeping them, and I always have. You know, as long as they're Van Gelder cuts coming off that same metalwork, the sound on a lot of those is fantastic. John Patton, Let 'Em Roll. Another Van Gelder. This is going to be a Liberty era. Stereo, real clean. You know, I was buying these things for years as, listenable copies because they cost 10, 15 bucks. But yeah, not the case anymore. Sam Rivers, Fuchsia Swing Song. Look at that. Look at that price tag. $2. $2 for Sam Rivers, Fuchsia Swing Song. Love to know the story with some of these. So this is an original. This is an original mono pressing Van Gelder plasticite. Little damage to the cover, you know, it's got a little moisture damage on it, but I don't have this title in my collection, so this features Ron Carter. Good record. All right, only a couple more that I'm going to keep here. Here's Lee Morgan. I actually have a copy of this. I feel like this is going to be a little cleaner than the copy I have. These VG Lee Morgan titles, and Wayne Shorter was on, there's some Wayne Shorter VG titles as well, are actually pretty good value. I mean, musically, good records, don't go for a lot of money. But this was a record that was pretty much unplayed. There was a mark or two on it. Played it in the store, played perfectly. Art Blakey appears courtesy of Blue Note Records. That's cool. Little sticker on the back. Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers. Heck of a value in the jazz world. You know, anything Blue Note is astronomical, Prestige is expensive. But even the labels for years that didn't go for a lot of money. Riverside, Contemporary, Savoy, some of the new jazz titles, those are even creeping up significantly in value. But a lot of the jazz titles on BJ do not go for very much money. Johnny Smith on New Jazz. That Good Feeling. Pretty solid, clean copy overall. Yeah. Okay. One more, and then I'll show you the stuff that's going on eBay this week. So the stuff that was on eBay last week, we actually did pretty well with it. You know, the store, but that just shows you everything's getting more expensive more than anything. So he had a chunk of Jackie McLean records that were water damaged. And I mean, it wasn't just they were water damaged. The covers were mildewy, they were disintegrating, but the records were perfect. So I kept the records, you know, like this Jackie McLean, it's time. This is a nice first pressing stereo plasticite. Real nice, clean copy. I mean, real solid. But I ended up keeping the records of those. And then I chucked the covers because they were a mold hazard at this point, you know, truth be told. Black mold and everything growing on them. So, but it wasn't, you know, the records weren't affected. It was like somebody put moisture on them. Not enough to even creep into the record to damage the, you know, because sometimes you can see the record has mold growing on it. But that wasn't the case here. But I'll throw that on the shelf. Just sit in a Jackie McLean spot on my shelf. Okay, so let's talk about some eBay stuff. Jackie McLean. How about this one? Here's a heavy hitter. Jackie's Bag. Jackie McLean. Look at that. Look at that price tag. Somebody valued that actually quite a bit of money back in the day. 15 bucks. That was a substantial sum of money for a record probably in the 80s or 70s whenever this was priced. Now this is a copy that has seen better days, but it is, yeah, plasticite, West 63rd. Nice copy on eBay. A title that I showed you guys last week, but I decided to go ahead and sell. Kenny Dorham's Whistle Stop. Nice first pressing mono copy. Showed it in the video last week. All right, so I'm digging through the boxes. This was a couple of weeks ago. You know, and I start screaming, woo! In the store, people are looking around like, what's going on? Like, what's he shouting at? Well, I pull this out of a box. Yeah, Sonny Clark, Cool Strutting. One of the most valuable Blue Notes there is. Now this is actually a true first pressing. Now, mind you, my excitement was first seeing it. I was a little less excited when I saw, you know, unfortunately the cover was chewed up there a little bit. But I cleaned it, you know. It's been played, but surprisingly, you know, when I listened to it on the store system, it actually played quite nice. These old Blue Notes, there's something magical about them. They're nice and deep. Groove-wise, you know, the grooves are really nice and deep in the wax there, so a lot of that surface gunk and blemishes and the grit you see, a lot of that doesn't really materialize into what you're hearing. Very true for those mid-50s Blue Notes. But Sonny Clark's Cool Strutting. So that is going on eBay. Had a little post-it note on there that said, plays, no skips. All right, and we're kicking along. Miles Davis Quintet, original 50th Street Prestige. This is one hell of a box, I'm not gonna lie. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Volume 2. Meet you at the Jazz Corner of the World. Nice first pressing. Looks like, yeah, West 63rd, deep groove. Real nice clean cover on this one, actually. Yeah, pretty actually clean jacket all around. Vinyl's not bad on this either. This looks like it'd be actually quite a nice play copy. Now this, you know, I mean, come on. George Benson's Mobile Fidelity copy of his own album, Breezing. Now I know it's just Breezing, but it's George Benson's personal copy of Breezing. How cool is that? This is one that I thought, you know, I should keep this, but truth be told, I actually have a test pressing of it. So in that collection, and I'm not even going to show you that today, I might show it on a future video, I have the test pressing for this. So I'm going to keep the test pressing, and I'm going to take his copy, and I'm going to put it on eBay. All right, Lewis Smith, here comes. This is a United Artists pressing. Real clean copy, though, all around. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. Clean cover. Like I said, they're not the $10, $15 records they once were. Here's a fantastic record I really dig. It actually came out as a tone poet. If you guys don't have it, it's worth a try. This is Sam Rivers, Contours. This is a Liberty pressing. Van Gelder mastering. All right, let's keep digging. Man, there's a lot of records in this video. Lee Morgan's The Sidewinder. Mono copy. Miles Davis, plus 19, Gil Evans. With Gil Evans, this is the original cover that Miles did not like and was subsequently changed. Dearly Beloved, Stanley Turrentine. This is a mono pressing. I gotta tell you, this is a fun video to make. Holding all these records, going through all these records. A lot of fun. Miles Davis, Prestige, 50th Street, Miles All-Stars. You know, it's a very well-loved copy, but it was in the collection. Bud. So this is another, let's see, this is a Liberty pressing of Bud. Pretty cool because it has an original $10 price tag on it. Pretty solid shape. Uses the original Van Gelder metalwork. But I really wish I could find out where he was getting these records for 10, 15 bucks after the fact. Because, you know, there was a point in time where they weren't, you know, 70s, these weren't collectible, but they probably went for a little bit more because they were out of print or you couldn't get them. That was like the dawn of the collectability. Babyface Wylette, Face to Face, another great tone poet. This looks like an original mono deep groove. Plasticite, well-loved copy. These are some of the coolest records I found in the collection. He had a mess of Grant Green. Here's Grant Green's First Stand. Blue Note 4064. This is a mono pressing. Another well-loved copy. The Three Sounds. Vibrations. Real clean copy, but like Jimmy Smith, the Three Sounds do not go for a ton of money. Relaxin', this is another original 50th Street pressing. Got a little duct tape seam repair there on the bottom. Pretty well loved copy, but yeah, is what it is. God, there's so many heavy hitters in here. Cannonball Adderley, Miles Davis, Something Else, one of the greatest jazz albums of all time. Another album that has quite a few little seam repairs. The bottom with some early Scotch tape. This is a first pressing without the ink, deep groove, both sides, plasticite, RVG. You know, definitely a played copy. Little stamp on this one. What's it say? I never noticed this before. Yeah, this is why this is cool. You know, George is actually from Pittsburgh. And this was purchased at Lomakin Music on Liberty Avenue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Phone number Atlantic 16344. How cool is that? George Benson's personal copy of Something Else from his hometown in Pittsburgh. Very cool. Seeing that makes me kind of not want to sell it. But there's a lot of records in this collection, and I can't keep them all. The next video will actually have quite a chunk of stuff that I do plan on keeping. Jackie McLean, Prestige 7087. With Ray Draper and tuba. Original 50th Street pressing. Speaking of, Johnny Smith. At the end of Johnny's career, he actually lived in Phoenix here and played at a club called the Rhythm Room quite frequently, which was a small little club. Before my time, this would have been in the late 90s. But, you know, you go in there on the weekend and for what, probably $5-10, go see Jimmy Smith playing. Wayne Shorter, Odyssey of Ishka. One of my favorite era from Blue Note. All right, we got a mess of titles. Great Greens, Green Street. Later pressing of that. Actually, you know what this is? Yeah. Kenny Burrell with the now famous Andy Warhol cover. This is another UA Blue Label pressing. IQ Beck, Heavy Soul, great record. Little water damage on this cover there off to the side. This is an original RVG plasticite pressing. Nice copy. Lee Morgan, Search for New Land. So this was weird. You see these anomalies every now and then. You're like, you have to stop and pause because you're like, what's going on here? So I see this nice first pressing record, right? And you open it up and you're like, well, that sleeve doesn't look right. And then you're like, that's off. And then you just get it out and you examine it a little more and it's got that nice Made in Japan sticker. So somewhere along the line, who knows, maybe this jacket got water damaged. He took a Japanese cover, no sign of the Japanese record, took a Japanese cover and threw his original pressing in it. So yeah, we have a Monk Brilliant Corners in a Japanese cover. Freddie Reed with Jackie McLean. He really had, I mean, if there was two artists I would say he had the most of, it'd be Jackie and Grant Green. This is a nice early first pressing on that as well, actually. Well-loved copy. This is another great VJ bargain, Wayne Shorter. Good record. Listen to this today earlier in the store before I threw it in the box. Wayne Shorter, Lee Morgan, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb, Wynton Kelly. I mean, yeah, real nice. This is actually really nice. It's got some scratches and marks on it, but it looks like this was a brand new record that was maybe, I don't know, mishandled once or twice, and maybe only played once or twice, but because it was mishandled, it's got a lot of that surface marks. But those kind of records tend to play really nice, assuming that the surface marks aren't too deep. But this actually played quite nice. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Hard Bop on Columbia, 6i Columbia. Later pressing of Jackie McLean, 456 on New Jazz. Some more Jackie McLean, Steeplechase on New Jazz. Here's another great Jackie McLean. This was actually made as a Blue Note classic. A Fickle Sonnets. Great title. You can get the Blue Note Classic cut by Kevin Gray for 25 bucks, all analog. Doesn't have that nice cardboard cover, but you know, it's 25, maybe 26. They just had a price increase. Another Prestige Miles Davis Quintet, copy of Steeman. Sam Jones, The Soul Society on Riverside. There was not a ton of stuff on Riverside in this collection, which, you know, I can't complain, because if you're a record store owner and you buy somebody's jazz collection, like, what are you hoping for? You hoping to have a lot of Riverside stuff or a lot of Blue Note stuff? Didn't have a lot of Riverside stuff, but there was a ton of stuff on Blue Note. IQ Beck, Blue and Sentimental. Grant Green on this as well. Yeah, this was a pretty solid play copy when I listened to it in the store, but unfortunately the side of the cover there decided to go swimming for a little bit somewhere. Didn't dry itself off when it got out of the pool. So Sam Rivers, A New Conception. Drove my wife crazy listening to this a couple days ago. Needless to say, she is not a Sam Rivers fan. But yeah, keep in mind, guys, all this stuff is on eBay. I'm doing a 10-day auction on it. So now is the chance. City Lights by Lee Morgan. I think they're redoing this actually as a tone poet, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that online a couple weeks ago. This is a later United Artists Liberty pressing. Absolutely fantastic record. Unfortunately, this is a United Artists pressing as well. Dial S for Sunny. A little bit of water damage on that as well. Ooh, some more heat. Lee Morgan's The Cooker. This is an original mono deep groove. West 63rd Plasticide RVG pressing. Yeah, nice first pressing all around. Very well loved copy. Unfortunately, it's got some tape repair work done on the seams there. Man, I was excited to see this, but not in the best shape. Tenor Madness, Sonny Rollins. This is an original 50th Street pressing. I got excited because, you know, you see this, you're like, oh man, Saxophone Colossus, right behind it. There was no Saxophone Colossus in the collection, but there was a Tenor Madness. George Barrett Extension. Grant Green, again, had a ton of Grant Green and a lot of Grant Green Blue Note appearances as well. A lot of later Grant Green as well. It's actually a pretty solid copy. Actually, this would have been a keeper, but there was like a divot on the vinyl that is probably going to prevent the last track on side 2 from playing. But not something I was going to risk playing on my turntable, but I think I'm pretty sure I notated that in the eBay listing. Jackie's Bag. Now this is a later pressing. UA Blue Label. Real clean. Yep, pretty clean copy. All right, almost done, guys. John Coltrane with the Red Garland Trio. This is an original 50th Street Prestige title. Pretty loved. Many a place. All right. Stanley Turrentine, Up at Minton's. later UA pressing. A Date with Jimmy Smith. And last but not least, Louis Smith Smithville. Blue Note 1594. Now this is actually a UA pressing as well. But yeah, this has been a fun showing. This is a great box of records. Spent a week going through them, cleaning them, listening to them, testing them, getting prepped to go on eBay. But this is a heck of a collection, guys. And I'm going to be doing more of these videos, going through it. Not so much as what, you know, to show you guys as well, but also I like to catalog these things. I love as years go by, and who knows, this stuff might be 20 times the price in 20 years. It's going to be cool to look back on these videos and be like, oh man, I remember that. I remember, you know, brings back a rush of emotions. It's like looking at an old photograph or looking at an old album or looking at an old video. It kind of, you know, things that you forgot, it kind of teleports you back in time, and it's exciting to do that. And that's one of the main reasons I love doing these videos, is because I like to catalog these things for history so I can go back in the future and check it out. But check us out online, guys, www.theingroove.com. Check these items out on eBay. Until next time.